this came out really good. This thing was filthy before. I don't know how many clutches this thing went through before it got cleaned, but it looks amazing now. Good job, Daiki. So welcome back to the channel, and we're getting back onto the Skyline, finally. And the first thing that I wanna do is get the transmission and the new clutch on. That'll kind of like tie everything together and stop the engine leaning right now so that we'll have a bit more space behind the block and stuff to run cables, wires, hoses, whatever we need. But also just kind of, you know, the next part of getting this all together so that when we do feel like cranking it for the first time and whatnot, we can. And I have no idea why May sits on the floor.
I just sometimes want to sit down, look at the FD car and wonder how much money we can sell this for.
Definitely not as much as we've spent on it, that's for sure, because that's not how cars work. But the floor is nice and clean though, so I do sit on the floor myself.
Thank you, Daiki.
Daiki always keeps it clean. So let's get this Skyline up in the air. While we're waiting for that to go up, a message from today's sponsor, which is me. Hi guys, my name's Sam. Welcome to the SAMMIT. But for real though, I do want to tell you about the new subreddit. We finally got an official subreddit for us. It feels crazy because for the longest time I've been trying to get it, and we finally did. They gave us the SAMMIT subreddit, so just go to r/SAMMIT and you guys can join that subreddit and you can post memes, anything car related, anything that you think will make me laugh, anything that you think that you enjoy, that you know I'll enjoy. That is where I want it to be, because I am working on, with the SAMMIT Raw channel, moving into some more kind of, I guess, more lifestyle kind of fun content. Stuff where you'll see me like this now, talking to you, having fun, reacting, and just having a good time. So if you're not subscribed to the SAMMIT Raw channel, now is your chance. Go subscribe to it. And if you haven't joined the subreddit yet, join the subreddit. And of course, go to sammit.net and grab yourself some merch, especially the new support pack, which is going directly to supporting Daiki and his D1 Lite streams. Thank you so much, guys. Let's get back to the video. We got ourselves my all-time favorite clutch. I don't think in any of my cars I have anything but ORC. It's actually amazing. ORCs and everything. Comp car has a triple ORC. Chaser has a super single ORC. SRS15 has a twin ORC. Bogan has a super single ORC. The Z has a twin ORC. And now the Skyline is getting a twin ORC. And their clutches are beautiful. Massive recommendation. They just released like a new kind of dampened version, which just adds a couple springs to the pressure, not the pressure plate, to the clutch disc, which just means that it's a little less aggressive on your transmission. So make sure you get the new version of their twin. And you throw out bearing, love that. Let's open this bad boy together, hey? Ooh, look at this. All-time favorite clutch, right here. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Holds the power, great as well for just rebuilding and stuff like that. All these parts are interchangeable. You can order them separately, all that kind of thing. And it's just a proven clutch. I've never had a single issue with any of my ORC clutches. They're just amazing. Pro tip with chasers though, the throwout bearing goes on one way and one way only. If you have it the wrong way, it'll actually not go evenly on your pressure plate, which will then cause your whole thing to warp and explode. So just make sure you pay attention and read the instructions. I made that mistake already on my Chaser once. Anyways, let's get this onto the Skyline. We're gonna need some new flywheel belts, which I have prepared somewhere else, which I need to go find. So we'll go do that and pick up when the flywheel's going off. Little pro tip for you guys, the input shaft from the S15 or S14 transmission is identical to the RB, which is awesome. So my little cut input shaft here from an old 5-speed transmission fits perfectly for an alignment tool. The other thing is make sure before you disassemble your clutch to put it on, always do a marking here. Generally these are all balanced as an assembly with the flywheel and discs and everything. So mark it so that when you put it all back together, it's all in the same position and it's still in balance. And you'll have a good time without any weird vibrations. Yes, we like that. We like that a lot. I'm normally a firm believer in the good old couple ugga-duggers, but anything rotating, not a good idea. So I'm gonna be going around and doing everything correctly. The book says that it needs to be torqued to 39.2 Newton meters. This is exactly what we have this thing set to. And we're just gonna keep going around, doing everything on the pressure plate until we're good. Nice. Well, look at this. Let me get down on the floor. We got a transmission and a clutch, pretty much a drivetrain in this now. We're getting closer to this thing running and driving it, so I'm really excited. We definitely need to connect the tail shaft and everything, but for the most part, we're good right now. I was a little worried about if the bolts were all gonna line up and stuff with a 33 transmission here, but it all did fine. We just used the Stagia bolts here because these are a little bit longer, being that the aluminum sump or oil pan is a little thicker here than the stock one, which normally just has these brackets that come down here that are super thin. But yeah, this is all integrated into the oil pan, which is what I was explaining when I said that the all-wheel drive oil pan actually acts as a little bit of a block brace, which is kind of nice. But definitely a true block brace would be something from PRP that's like actually part of the girdle and everything and the main caps and stuff. That would be sick to put in one of my cars in the future. But for now, this is perfect. We're making a good 500-600 horsepower, so I'm happy with this. But yeah, next step is definitely going to be fueling. We got to rip out all the stock fuel lines that are going along the bottom here of the chassis, and we've got to run all of that and put the new fuel hat in. But today we're kind of done. I'm really tired, and we've been working on a ton of other stuff behind the scenes, but it's looking really, really good. I'm excited. I was just looking over the car and I noticed this. Looks like it's just one of them, so it's kind of lucky. But man, the last time I did that up was a very long time ago, so that must have been like that for a long time. That's kind of funny. Anyways, I'm really impressed with how like nice this car is under here. There's no like rust in the usual places, like up and in here and stuff. It's really clean actually. Nice body. The only thing is me jacking off it, and that sounded wrong, but jacking the car up on the member here in random car parks and stuff like that, it kind of flattened it in. But if I can get a side hammer on that, I think I'll pull that out and recoat it. This one here is a little yikes. That's my fault too, but I can straighten that out. Now that everything's bolted up, the engine should be sitting in its correct location. I've tightened everything on the engine too, engine mounts and the front member or subframe. So we get to finally see like, I guess its final sitting place, which is something that I've been a little bit worried about just with obviously using the Stagia oil pan and stuff. I was a bit worried if it was gonna hit on anything, but it's looking good from underneath. Yeah, it's definitely in a much better position now. Just looking from here. Yeah. It's a lot straighter now, and it's at the exact angle that it needs to be. RVs always are kind of a little bit slanted. It's nice. Unlike the JZ. The JZ just like straight up and down. Well, at least in my S15, I don't know in Supras and stuff. At the back here, ooh, we're tight, but there's still a decent amount of space there, which is nice between the fuel regulator and everything. That's beautiful. Oh, that's so nice. Everything fits, Daiki. Everything fits. This car is gonna be fun. It's the next day and we need to have a serious sad talk. Since we filmed, the fleet is down one car. I sold a car. I sold a car from under you guys, and I'm sorry, but I kind of already told you I was selling it. The Crown's gone. The Crown is no longer here. It's not out the front, it's gone. My good friend Clint bought it, and yeah, he's gonna enjoy it now, and now we have a little bit of cash, so maybe we can go and get a newer Crown, like I was talking about. But the Yakuza Crown is finally out of my life. Kind of a good thing at the end of it, but also it was a fun car while it lasted. So with that being said, what I want to work on now is the fueling, pick up where we left off. Fuel hat needs to go in. I need to run new fuel lines to the front fuel rail, put a fuel filter in, and we're gonna get onto that right now. So we finished installing the hat in the fuel tank. Installation went great. I love Radium products. They seriously are like some of the best quality stuff. Anyway, so the fuel hat is installed. We've got everything ready to accept our new lines that we're going to be running to it, which are going to be AN-8 and AN-6. 6 return, 8 for feed. So what we need to do is take away all of the hard lines that are under the car, and we're going to be replacing them with some nice AN line. And we also got from Radium their beautiful fuel line retainer kit. These are great. They come with all these like CNC billet adapters that go into the OEM bolting position for those fuel line retainers to keep the hard line there for the brake and the vent, as well as brand new AN line 8 and 6. So it's like just perfect. I love this stuff so much. Anyways, so we're gonna start unbolting all of that. I'm also gonna be deleting at the same time while I'm here the clutch damper. We've got a nice just braided line that's gonna be going in for that. Otherwise, everything else is just kind of straightforward. We got to take all the hard line out. It's probably the most time-consuming thing, but it needs to be done, so we're doing it. This is a fantastic idea. I love this idea. Wait a little bit of fill. Yeah. You know. Yep.
Just walked into a tire.
Yeah, there's a tire there.
Yeah.
Don't know if you knew that, you know. Why remove your obstacles when you can just cut around them? Or through them?
There's one.
It's out! Don't do what I do. I was so over that. All right, now we're gonna clean up our mess and then get on to the next part. All clean. Gonna straighten out my hose. All right, we're gonna feed our brand new fuel hose from Radium up to the tank, along the car, and put all the things in place. Also, we're removing all of the old RGB rock lights off this because we're gonna put a proper underglue kit on it. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be great. Gonna just tape up the ends because where these are going, it's gonna be pretty dirty, and I don't want that in my fuel tank or line. Something like that. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
I think there's a lot of gas fumes in here. This video's gotten quite silly.
We got the fuel lines run up to the top here. I got the push fittings pushed on and the AN stuff all nice and tight now. So this is all ready to go. It's crazy that these fittings, you just push them onto the hose, and once they kind of bottom out, they'll never come off. Like actually never. I've tried pulling them off and they just don't. So it's pretty cool that you can just do that and not have to do the whole AN line thing, although I do like AN lines, but this is also really handy and just fast. So I like that. But yeah, everything's all good. We just gotta do a little bit of wiring with some ring terminals to the top of the hat, and then we're good to go. But everything's done here now except for that. So we're gonna send the car up, we're gonna put all the brackets on and run the line all the way to the front, and then we're done. We're probably one of the most tedious jobs. Well, I say that, but then I know I have to do wiring still in the engine bay, so yeah. Most of it's done. It's done, guys. It's done. And it looks amazing. Check this out. Seriously, the best kit. The best kit ever. This is my first time installing one of these, and I'm so hyped on it. Everything just lined perfectly up. And look how beautiful the fuel lines look. All the way to even here. if Riley can get around to see here. This little piece here, and then it's gonna go to the filter, and we're done. So yeah, one of the most tedious things that I've been putting off forever is finally done. And it took us, oh my God, it's 9 p.m. Yeah. And we weren't really slacking with it too. We were working on it non-stop. Next thing is the rest of these need to come out, but that'll be a tomorrow job. For now, we're done. The fuel system is pretty much done. All we gotta do now is the wiring in the engine bay, and this thing can come to life, finally. Next couple of days are gonna be a lot of work, but so worth it. And hopefully the next video, we'll have this thing idling and running. So I'm gonna go home, order a few things that I forgot about from Kinokuni, and we should be ready. Fuel system, off the list. There's a little bit more to do. All that's left now is pretty much run the lines. We got a filter that's gonna go on there, which just bolts on, and then it's just connect to the fuel rail, and we're good. So pretty much that's all done, and that was like one of the most tedious things to do. The next stuff is wiring, plugging everything in, doing my sensor harness, which actually shouldn't take too long. It's just probably about a full day's worth of work on this, and then we should be good. The biggest thing is like when you're at this stage of a build, you start piecing everything together and connecting everything up, and you start finding things that you forgot to order or didn't realize that you were going to need, and things like that. So it just kind of progressively snowballs a little bit from here, but for the most part, we'll be able to get this thing on its first start with no exhaust, the usual kind of first start, and then from there, I'll get the fab work done in the background, and we'll have like one last video of it all being done and completed, and kind of go from there. But still got a fair bit to do, and I definitely want to hear this thing start up for the first time because it's killing me. With that though, May's at home about to make a nice lamb chop and veggie dinner, so I'm gonna head home to that. But I'm curious, what's something that you've worked on your car, or not even cars, just projects in general? What's that tedious thing that just always consumes the most time that you keep putting off to the end and procrastinating with? That's what that was for me today. So fuel line's done. Clutch and transmission are done. That was actually funner than the fuel lines. But anyways, I'm curious to know. Let me know in the comment section, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Peace.